For more, we're now joined by David Gelman, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. David, talk about just a devastating blow to those families who've been begging for accountability for years now. What was your reaction when the verdict came down?
Markie, I'm not surprised. Look, when you have a quick verdict like this, and 7 hours is pretty quick for something like this, the rule of thumb is it's usually going to be a not guilty. And it was very interesting. You had the defense attorneys afterwards in their press conference. They were able actually to talk to the jury, which is really, really beneficial if you're an attorney. And the jury said to them there were gaps in the evidence. And I saw that all along. I'm not saying this was a good case to try. And just because he did it, he was found innocent or not guilty, I should say, doesn't mean he wasn't a coward, because he definitely was a coward. But the problem is, being a coward doesn't mean you're found guilty in the court of law.
I found it interesting, David, that the defense argued if Gonzales was convicted, it would signal to police that they had to be perfect, when responding to a crisis, which in turn could make them more hesitant in the future. But I thought to myself, also conversely, though, doesn't that also send the message that you knowingly don't have to be perfect and that's going to be okay in a court of law?
Markie, that's a good question, but every situation is different. Let's remember that. And also, historically, cops who have been charged with similar actions like this have not been found guilty, because it is a very, very chaotic situation when you are an officer. And the evidence showed here that, look, he did not know exactly where this particular person was, allegedly, okay? And that there was other calls saying that the shooter was outside and different things. So it was a very chaotic situation. And look, it's hard to Sunday quarterback the situation. I get that. And I understand that the emotions that the families are taking. But this is probably the best, this was the right call, in my opinion, as a jury, and I think the defense proved it.
Let's take a quick listen to what the prosecution said in their closing arguments, and then I want your take on the other side.
I want officers to know those days are over. We're not going to continue to teach children to rehearse their own death and not hold them to the training that's mandated by law. That when you hear the gunfire, you go to it. You go to the shots. You stop the dying. And you hold civilians, children, above yourself. You hold them high. They're the highest priority of life.
David, just put me, if you could, in the minds of those jurors. Could you walk us through what might not have resonated with them from the prosecution?
Well, number one, I thought the closing statement by that prosecutor was very powerful. Don't get me wrong here. The problem is the facts just don't match up to what they have to be charged here. And they have to show that this individual, he was charged with 29 counts of endangering the children, okay? Endangering the life of the children by not acting. And the evidence in this case showed that he might not have acted exactly how he was supposed to act or how they wanted to act, but there wasn't enough evidence to show that he actually didn't do it by the book, by what he was trained to do. And other officers were not charged either, and they were also there. So I think all that culminated with the jury saying, you know what, we think this is a terrible case, we are so sorry, we hate that this happened. However, there's just not enough evidence to convict the defendant.
Yeah, the entire story is just horrific. And as a mother, I can't even fathom. David Gelman, thank you so much, as always, for hopping on early with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.